It was the headline no one expected, the kind of revelation that could stop Hollywood in its tracks. The tearful truth behind Sam Heughan's romance with Dakota Johnson. For years, Sam Heughan had been the golden boy of secrecy. The Outlander heartthrob, adored by millions worldwide, had perfected the art of dodging questions about his personal life. His blue-eyed stares and Highland charm made him a fantasy figure, but behind the curtain, Sam's private affairs were always locked away, untouchable. He was the mystery man of Hollywood. Dakota Johnson, on the other hand, was anything but a stranger to scandal. The daughter of Hollywood royalty, propelled to global stardom through the provocative 50 Shades of Grey franchise, Dakota carried an aura of danger and allure. She was unpredictable, magnetic, and every relationship she had ever touched became gossip column gold. So when whispers began to tie these two worlds together, it wasn't just gossip, it was an earthquake. It started with photographs. Paparazzi shots of Sam and Dakota leaving a high-profile afterparty in Los Angeles, smiling, leaning in close, seemingly lost in their own world. To some, it was nothing more than friendly conversation. But to Hollywood tabloids hungry for their next scandal, it was proof of something far juicier, an unexpected, secret romance. Bloggers ran wild. Sam Heughan finds love with Dakota Johnson, screamed one headline. Another was even harsher. Jamie Fraser's forbidden affair with Hollywood's wild child. Suddenly, the Scottish actor known for his gentlemanly image was recast as the daring rogue caught up in a whirlwind fling with one of Hollywood's most notorious daughters. The timing couldn't have been worse. Dakota, long associated with musicians and actors alike, was fresh off rumors about her turbulent relationship with Chris Martin. Sam, meanwhile, was still navigating the endless speculation that tied him, rightly or wrongly, to his Outlander co-star Caitriona Balfe. When their names collided, the internet detonated. Within hours, Twitter became a battlefield. Loyal Outlander fans, many of whom had shipped Sam and Caitriona for nearly a decade, felt betrayed. How could he do this to Caitriona? One fan raged. Dakota Johnson ruins everything she touches, another declared. Instagram fan accounts posted side-by-side comparisons. Sam with Caitriona on the red carpet versus Sam with Dakota in grainy paparazzi shots. The contrast was damning. To fans who had spent years dreaming of Sam and Caitriona as soulmates, Dakota represented the villain, the interloper, the woman who had stolen their fantasy away. Others, however, were thrilled. Some celebrated the unexpected pairing, calling it Hollywood's hottest new couple. Entertainment podcasts dissected the possibilities. Was this just a fling, or could it be something deeper? Had Sam finally found the woman who could tame him? The fandom fractured, divided into camps, defenders, skeptics, and the heartbroken. Tabloids smelled blood. For days, front pages screamed betrayal and romance. Magazine covers blared. Sam and Dakota. The secret nights together. Caitriona blindsided by Sam's new love. From 50 Shades to Outlander. The affair that stunned Hollywood. Every angle was exploited. Old clips of Sam and Dakota exchanging pleasantries at red carpets were recirculated, now framed as evidence of long-simmering chemistry. Anonymous sources close to the couple fed tabloids dramatic details, secret dinners, late-night calls, passionate whispers caught by insiders. Whether true or not didn't matter. The narrative was irresistible, and Hollywood was hooked. And then came the cruelest twist, Caitriona Balfe. She had nothing to do with Sam and Dakota, and yet her name was dragged relentlessly into the mess. Headlines framed her as the betrayed partner, the woman left devastated by Sam's supposed romance. It didn't matter that Caitriona was happily married, or that she had repeatedly emphasized her bond with Sam was purely platonic. In the frenzy of the scandal, facts were irrelevant. What mattered was the image. Caitriona as the heartbroken heroine, Sam as the betrayer, Dakota as the temptress. Fans rallied around Caitriona. Hashtags like #StandWithCaitriona and #SamExplain trended worldwide. She became the emotional centerpiece of the drama, a role she never chose but was forced to play. As the days stretched on, the scandal only deepened. Entertainment shows replayed the same grainy footage on endless loops, each commentator layering on their own dramatic interpretation. Gossip podcasts speculated about jealousies, rivalries, and betrayals. Some insiders claimed Sam and Dakota's connection was tearful, filled with late-night confessions and heartbreak. Others suggested the entire thing was a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But by then, the truth was irrelevant. The spectacle had already taken on a life of its own. Sam Heughan, the untouchable leading man, was suddenly human, flawed, messy, emotional. Dakota Johnson, Hollywood's enigmatic darling, was thrust once again into the role of scandal's muse. And Caitriona Balfe, the elegant Irish star, became the unwilling victim of a love triangle that may never have existed. By the end of that first chaotic week, the question wasn't whether Sam and Dakota were really together. It was how Caitriona would respond. Would she defend Sam? Would she confirm her heartbreak? Or would she, as many feared, remain silent while the world painted her as the devastated woman in the middle of a love story gone wrong? The world waited, holding its breath. Because in Hollywood, perception is everything. And right now, the perception was devastating. The storm that followed Sam Heughan and Dakota Johnson's alleged romance didn't calm, it intensified. Every gossip site, every entertainment show, every fan account became a courtroom, with Sam and Dakota placed on trial. The headlines screamed louder each day. Caitriona's heartbreak deepens. Sam and Dakota's secret nights revealed. Outlander star caught in tearful affair. But as the days stretched into weeks, something darker emerged beneath the surface. The so-called romance was not the fairy tale the tabloids wanted. It was messy, confusing, and filled with tears. Most of them shed away from flashing cameras. Sam Heughan had always been careful with his image. For years, he had walked the tightrope between giving fans just enough to adore him while fiercely protecting his private life. But now, with Dakota's name tied to his, that wall had been shattered. Close friends whispered that the Scottish actor was gutted by the scandal. He hadn't anticipated the explosion. What began as a simple, friendly connection with Dakota at Hollywood gatherings had spiraled into a narrative of betrayal, romance, and devastation. He hates seeing Caitriona's name dragged through this, one insider claimed. The idea that she's hurt or humiliated because of him. That's the part that breaks him. For Sam, the tearful truth wasn't about Dakota. It was about the collateral damage. Caitriona Balfe, his confidant, his creative partner, now painted as the woman left broken in the wake of his alleged fling. Dakota Johnson, for her part, was no stranger to gossip. But this scandal cut differently. She had worked hard to shed the shadow of 50 Shades, reinventing herself as a respected indie actress with sharp wit and undeniable talent. To suddenly be cast as the seductress who stole Sam from Caitriona was a script she had never auditioned for. The whispers hurt. Friends said Dakota broke down in tears after one particularly brutal headline called her Hollywood's heartbreaker. She insisted she and Sam were friends, warm, yes, but not romantically involved. Yet no denial could quiet the machine once it was in motion. To make matters worse, her every move was now tied to Sam. A casual outing became another date. A smile became confirmation. Dakota, the daughter of Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, had grown up with the circus of Hollywood, but even she confessed privately that this scandal was one of the hardest storms she'd faced. And then, at the very center, stood Caitriona Balfe. For years, she had been Sam's partner in crime, his red carpet counterpart, the woman with whom he shared a once-in-a-lifetime chemistry. To fans, she wasn't just Claire Fraser. She was the woman destined for Sam, in life as much as on screen. Now, she was painted as the devastated victim. Though Caitriona never issued a statement, sources claimed she was deeply hurt by the way the story spiraled. Not because of jealousy, she was happily married, but because of the way her friendship with Sam was weaponized for clicks. The tears she shed weren't over lost love, but over lost privacy, lost dignity. Her silence spoke volumes. To fans, it was proof of heartbreak. To Caitriona, it was simply survival. Because in Hollywood, responding only feeds the beast. As the scandal peaked, the truth began to seep through the cracks. There was no torrid affair. No secret betrayal. No love triangle plotted in shadows. What there was instead were three people caught in the crosshairs of Hollywood's ruthless hunger for spectacle. Sam and Dakota had shared fleeting moments, conversations, laughter, maybe even a spark of curiosity. But that was all. The love story tabloids had spun was an illusion, inflated to sell magazines and dominate algorithms. The tearful truth? Everyone suffered. Sam, devastated that his loyalty to Caitriona had been questioned. Dakota, bruised by a reputation she didn't deserve. And Caitriona, left to endure the role of betrayed woman in a play she never agreed to perform. When Sam finally spoke, weeks later, it was quiet, dignified, and final. Dakota is a friend. Caitriona is family. The rest is noise. With those words, the scandal began to crumble. Headlines softened, fans shifted their outrage to the next celebrity feud, and the storm that had threatened to destroy reputations finally began to pass. But the scars remained. For Caitriona, the experience was a brutal reminder of how quickly her name could be twisted into someone else's narrative. For Sam, it was a lesson in the fragility of privacy. And for Dakota, it was proof that in Hollywood, no good deed, or smile, goes unpunished. Months later, the story still lingers in the corners of fan forums and gossip blogs. Some cling to the fantasy of Sam and Dakota as star-crossed lovers. Others mourn the way Caitriona was dragged into a mess she never deserved. But for those closest to the truth, the message is clear. The tearful truth behind Sam Heughan's alleged romance with Dakota Johnson wasn't a grand love story or a shocking betrayal. It was a tale of perception versus reality, of three lives entangled in Hollywood's relentless appetite for drama. In the end, there was no affair to expose, no betrayal to confirm. Just tears, tears of frustration, of humiliation, of exhaustion. Tears that proved once again that behind every headline, every rumor, every glossy cover, there are real people paying the price.